Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have for you the third week of my Advent Matchboxes. So let's jump right in. So for this week I have already made the boxes. Of course, I did show how to make them in the first video, which it went up 2 weeks ago. I'll have that linked in the card if you want to check it out. And this week I really wanted to make a whimsical matchbox set. So I brought out some Whimsy pattern paper here. This is the Whimsy Stamps Blurry Flurries 6x6 paper pad. And again, I'm cutting them down to the right size. So this is 2 and just over a half, like a smidge, and 1 3/4 is about the size of the panel. And I'm going to stick it down on the folded piece that's kind of the flap the box goes into. You can see here I haven't already creased it and made it into a shape. I have done that with the box piece, but not the kind of part that slides over top. And that's because I need to cut this hole so that star can sit in the center. And here you can see that I'm just going to die cut many pieces at the same time so that it's useful and does one pass. And I'm using my Gemini Jr. So the numbers for this are actually the numbers that came with the Matchbox die, as well as the circle bit that cuts out that piece I've just cut, which is going to be my window for this card, for this box, sorry. And that kind of scalloped piece to decorate it is also out of that same die set. The star that I am going to cut twice because I need 2 sides is actually out of the Vault series for Christmas 2021. So that's specifically out of there. And you saw that I used some metallic jewel-toned cardstock for that. And then here I'm cutting this down. So you can see that I lined it up with the metal piece on my trimmer because that is 1/2 inch and the edges are 1/2 inch. So I line that up and then I trim it to the 1 3/4 or the 2 and just over a half. And that's how I create the pieces that kind of decorate around the built box when it's ready to be adhered. And then I did decide to put a piece of this white glitter cardstock on the inside of my little box. This is the same cardstock I used to cut out the numbers, as well as the little scalloped piece that's going to go around the window. And you can see I kind of have to eyeball it. So generally I trim it down to be what the box is, and then I have to kind of go from there because each box is slightly different depending on how well my walls went together and how thick the cardstock is and so on. So I just I eyeball the first cut and then I just go from there and trim down slivers until I get it to fit. So that's kind of my trick there. So yeah, and then I am going to poke the hole to create the little handle. I use my Tim Holtz Kraft pick first. And then I have 2 little drill bits that are the size of the hitch fastener. I use the small one first, and then I use the second one that's actually the full size of the hitch fastener. And then that just kind of makes it easier. You could come in and sand the little bit of extra cardstock that's there. You can see here, brought my scissors and just kind of trimmed off the excess, just because I didn't want to damage any of the cardstock. But you could sand the front a little bit because you're going to cover it up anyway. And you can see that I cut 3 numbers. I cut the 1 twice out of the same heavy cardstock that I used to create the Matchbox, and that's just so I'm going to layer up my numbers later. So here I have the star, and I know you can't really see what I'm doing because my nails are kind of long and because the star is tiny, but I'm just creasing it on all of the fold lines because it does give you those creases. And then I kind of grab 2 corners and pinch it, if that makes sense, to create the peak in the center. And then I go along and fold up the bits that are on the edges, which is where we're going to adhere the 2 stars together. Now I'm going to be honest, this was a bit tedious. 1, because they're tiny, 2, because my nails are long, and 3, because they're tiny. But the bigger star would not fit in the hole that it cut out. And sorry, my camera got a little out of frame there. So my secret for this, to get the string to stay where I need it, is I took some 1/8 of an inch Scor-Tape and I cut just one really small piece and put it on both sides of the star. And then I use that to hold my string on the star. And then I use glue on the bottom. So it is a bit tedious, honestly, but I love how these turned out. I thought they were so pretty. These are kind of my whimsical boxes. You would have seen, if you saw, I did kind of a vintage style for the first week, and then I did more of an elegant style for the second week, and this one is my whimsical style. So I did actually get a comment recently asking why I have not done a masculine style, as this is going to be an art piece. I don't know if it's going to go in my husband's office or my office, or if we're just going to put it up somewhere in the house just because it's going to be so pretty, I think. But the honest answer is kind of twofold. Masculine style does not come easily to me. I do really struggle to work with colors that aren't really bright. I love bright colors. I've been kind of trying to venture out and do more vintage, but browns and darker colors just don't come naturally to me. Second off, my husband loves everything that I make. So I kind of have a tendency towards making stuff that just makes me happy. And then he just loves it because I made it and he loves me. So I do tend to kind of just create what I create. And then, he's just super, super supportive. So that is kind of the answer to that question. But it was a great idea. And I need to practice my masculine style. But honestly, I never end up as happy with them as I do with brighter, bolder things. So it's kind of my thought there. I did make a more masculine styled anniversary card for my husband for our 2-year wedding anniversary, which was in September. So I'll link that in the card if you guys want to check that out. But outside of that, I tend really hard to stay towards the more bright and sunny color palette. And then here, to adhere my star down in the little hole there, you saw me adhere the string to, this is a 1/4 inch Scor-Tape. And then I adhered it down, and then I layered up another piece. And then I'm going to hide it behind this little panel that we created. So I did use the Scor-Tape, but because I put glue all over the background, I'm still going to be able to wiggle this around and get it exactly where I want it before it adheres. And then I just make sure that it's really well adhered around the circle so that my star is not going to kind of go anywhere. And the box does still fit inside. You just have to make sure the star is sitting up properly, but it twirls, which I just think is so cool. I don't do a lot of interactive things. I get a little intimidated by them, but I'm kind of trying to branch out and do kind of more fun 3D projects. So this creation was a lot of fun for that. So, and we still have 2 more designs for boxes to go. But yeah, and then I just took all the pieces that I trimmed and I'm just adhering them to all of the, around the whole box, all of the edges that you can see. And I did leave a thin white border around them. And then here I do just adhere the piece on right on top of that hole. I'll poke it back through once the glue is dry. But yeah, that's kind of the front of the box. And then I take that really cool kind of scalloped circle and I adhere it down again around that. I think it just gives it a lot more of a finished look, which I think turns out really pretty. And because the hole, it's open, I can just stick my finger in the hole there and make sure that it actually lines up around the circle. And then here you can see I am going to layer up. This is box 13. I usually do a test and see how my design's going to come together when I make the first one. So these boxes are like 11 to 15. So 11 and 12, I actually was playing with ideas to get these boxes to work. And then by 13, I felt pretty confident in my design. So that's the one I actually recorded. But, I mean, I guess I could have saved it for the number 11. It really doesn't matter, but that's just, I make whatever box is kind of the fun one to make. And purple is my favorite color, so I thought it would be really fun to share with you guys. And then here I layered up the numbers, and then I'm going to adhere them down. So the top number is actually that same white glitter cardstock that's in the inside and that's around the hole there. And then the 2 layers are the same heavy white cardstock that I used to actually create the box. So the colors all kind of match together. And I did offset my numbers just a little bit, just to kind of create that look. I like how that looks. On the other 2, they're very together. The numbers are side by side. So this is just kind of something that spices this box up a little bit differently. So when I go and adhere them into a shadow box later, they're going to have some differentiation between them, even though they're all like matchboxes. So yeah, I just thought that was really fun. And then I just kind of recreated that hole through the front of the box. And I'm going to stick my little fastener in here. These are the Hitch fasteners from Tim Holtz. And I just screwed that into that little hole. And then I like to make sure that the inside is actually going straight. I like all my boxes to kind of match. And then because I'm a little extra and I like all the sparkly things, excuse me, I had to add a couple of gems. So just 3, just kind of around the design. I think it just filled out the design a little bit better. And then here I'm going to hold it up so you can check it out in all of its glory. I am so in love with these boxes. I mean, I know I've said that pretty much every week so far, but I love them so much. And I'd love to know what you guys think. Leave me a comment if you are into that kind of thing. Leave me a like. Maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday, and I would love to have you guys back. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.